Afternoon again. Is it afternoon, actually? No, it's not. It's 11:59. Well, I wasn't far off. It feels like afternoon. Right, I've got something I meant to say yesterday, which I forgot all about, which I'll get onto in a minute. Listen, I have an amazing announcement to make. Seriously, I'm sane. I don't know how that's happened. I do, because it's a mixture of the police terrorising me for 3 years and causing me more nervous breakdowns than probably I even knew I was in, let alone care to remember. And the high functioning depression I had at the end of last year into this year. And also lockdown, I think, because I was just, ever since day one of this thing, I've been walking around in disbelief, as I've mentioned on the channel before. And it's made me realise that on that side of things, that if the government's that insane, that, you know, most, if not all of my actions are probably very near normal than what I'd considered. So all I can say is I've still got a bit of psychosis, because I know that, because every time I think about the police, and I won't tell you the feelings I have when I think about the police. Suffice it to say, it's not tea and biscuits in the garden in the afternoon in the sunshine. So I know I've still got a bit of that, but the paranoia's gone, the derealization's gone, the depressions have pretty much gone, to the point where I might need to close my eyes in the middle of the day because I can feel something coming on. But then I also have to consider that I quite often start work at 3 and 4 in the morning. So yeah, I think pretty much most people would get tired middle of the day if they did that. And yeah, the nervous disposition's gone. I'm not jumping like a startled ferret every time someone comes up behind me and I don't know they're there. And this was all down to the fog I had in my head half the time. So, wow. What can I say? I've never known anything else, guys. I'm not on a high, because I know what a high feels like, and this isn't it. I just feel, I don't know, I've never felt this before. I feel more rational and more in control. So, after about 38 years, because it hit me when I was about 9 or 10 years old, and I have quite vivid memories from some of those days. I have vivid memories of being extremely paranoid when I was at school. I have vivid memories of 9 or 10 falling asleep in the middle of the day, or wanting to fall asleep in the middle of the day. But that was the pressure I was getting, in my brain. So after 38 years, it's been a couple of weeks in the making that I've really felt things changing, and it's just not gone back. And I've not gone to... Normally, when I came out of depression, I'd just go sky high, and I'd be running around manically for like about 3 weeks or 3 months or whatever it was before I crashed again. But this isn't it. This is something totally different. So there you go. Modern medicine knows sod all. Right. Listen, celebrities and people, with influence, actors, musicians, even some politicians. I dare say there might be one good politician out there somewhere. Even senior police officers or whatever, right? You're all sitting there moaning and whining about wearing face masks, about social distancing, about being furloughed. Are you doing anything about it other than sitting on Twitter crying? All right, I could consider myself lucky because I was suddenly classed as a key worker, so I never stopped working. Twice, I think, for work, specifically for work, I've worn a mask for about all of 5 minutes each time, right? I don't social distance, because as I've said on the channel before, if you stand just in front of the stupid little yellow circle, right, that is actually the normal place you would stand, right? Which again, this is how we know the whole thing about control. But no, celebrities, you're just sitting there crying about it, aren't you? Oh, they can't do this. Oh, when's it going to change? So I tell you what, if you want to be taken seriously, right, go to the shop without a mask on. Don't do social distancing, because we all know by now, because they're trying to make out that the death rate's going up again today, apparently. We all know by now this is a load of twaddle. And what more can I say? Yeah. Just put your money where your mouth is, guys. Because I've had a few confrontations about not wearing a mask. Okay, if that's the way it's going to be, love, do you know what? I'll take my money elsewhere, because there's plenty of places that will accept you without one. So if businesses, the remaining businesses, and this is the time to be making money when all the high street stuff is shut down, if you're a motorway services or whatever, right? So why in the world would you turn people away when someone like me comes in and spends 600 quid on a tank of diesel? Do you know what I mean? But then what happens? I go into the shop, I quite fancy a sandwich, yeah, I'll have a can of Coke. Yeah, it's not massive money, but every little helps, doesn't it, as they say. So the businesses that are allowed to remain open are turning down customers because they're not wearing a mask. That's, I mean, do you know, I think if you asked Alan Sugar about that, he might say that's a bit stupid, really. Someone of that ilk. You know, if you've been allowed to remain open, for God's sake, don't be turning away customers because they're not following government guidelines that are made up overnight. Do you know what I mean? Right, this just proves all this Brexit stuff, which has been going for 5 years, it took them about a week to make up pages and pages and hundreds of pages of legislation on coronavirus and Protect Health Act and stuff like that. It took them about a week to do that. I mean, it just proves if they want it done, it can be done. So don't ever think for 1 minute, don't kid yourself for 1 second that the MPs give a toss about you. All they're interested in is that, lining their pockets. Thank you and good night.